Okay, do y'all want to hear about the time that I accidentally competed in the Miss Mississippi pageant? I know that sounds crazy, but I had no business in this pageant, y'all. I was still very much a tomboy at the time, and it was a complete coincidence. But stay tuned because I'm gonna tell you all about it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Indescribable, aka Geraldine Lake, and I'm about to tell you the craziest story about how I accidentally competed in the Miss Mississippi pageant. So I was working at this store called Body Central. Now, I know I'm dating myself because y'all ain't never heard of no Body Central. This was years ago, y'all. This was 2011. I was living in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and there are people who can confirm this story. So I was working at this store called Body Central, and I had a manager there who was really she was really tough, kind of mean, but I think she respected my work ethic and she was willing to promote me and things like that. So I think I had a good relationship with her, the staff, and, just everybody involved. Not for nothing, though. A random white lady came in and she was just smitten with me. She just was like, oh, you're so charming and you're so pretty. And she just started asking me these probing questions. I had no idea what she was doing, but she was like, oh, you're beautiful. Like, do you have any talents? I was like, well, actually, I'm a singer. I can hit a little 1-2, a little loving you. And so she was like, okay, cool. Well, I run a pageant organization and we need some girls to fill in some spots. So here's the breakdown. I don't know if it's the same now, but at this particular time, if you wanted to have one title, you would have to have 4 girls in order to have one competition. And those girls would compete for that one crown. So I believe they were trying to hold a dual pageant and they wanted to compete for 2 crowns at once. And they had like maybe 6 or 7 girls and they needed 8 to 10, right? So my other co-manager at the time was just a girl who just graduated. No, neither of us had real goals. We were just working at the job. And I was like, oh, it'd be fun to do it. So me and this girl put PTO in so we could go do the pageant. The big boss got mad and she was like, this is why we encourage people to not make friends outside of work because of stuff like this. And I'm like, I bet you're fun at parties. Womp womp, boo, go to hell. But anyway, so me and her ended up doing the pageant. Crazy thing is I know nothing about doing pageants for real. Now, just for the purpose of making sure you have the full backstory, I competed in competitions, dance competitions when I was a kid because I went to a performing arts elementary school. I've always done school plays and things like that, but I never did a pageant for real. When I graduated when I was a freshman at Alcorn State University, I did the Miss Freshman pageant and I still have my crown. Shout out to Alcorn State University. I have my Bachelor's of English Literature from there. I also learned so many things about Black culture because it is an HBCU. It's the oldest land-grant institution formed in 1871. I can't believe I still remember that information, but yeah, beneath the shade of giant trees, shout out to Alcorn State University. That really made me who I am because I was able to really connect with Black culture in a way that I had never seen before. So I did that pageant. I won Miss Freshman. So I was Miss Freshman that whole first year. And then they tried to take my crown because of my snitching ass roommate. I will do a story time about that later. But so I did that pageant and it just wasn't as intense as this preliminary to the Miss Mississippi pageant. So the Alcorn State pageant was basically you do a talent, you walk in a swimsuit, and really people vote based on popularity, right? So I was in this program called MAMP. It's a summer program that you enter into before your freshman year of school. So I went to that and I was able to meet some people before, freshman year even started. And I think that's what gave me a good edge when I competed for Miss Freshman because we didn't know really nobody as freshmen. But for this preliminary to the Miss Mississippi pageant, nobody was going to know me. I'm literally a space filler. Me and my homegirl that work at this Body Central clothing store, we are space fillers for this competition. So I ended up calling my parents and I was laughing and joking. I was like, I'm about to do a pageant this weekend. Y'all, I didn't have nobody to do my hair, nobody to do outfits, nothing. some local companies donated. There's the man named Michael Marks in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He arranged for some local companies to donate gowns and like beauty accessories, things like that. So I was completely taken care of, even though I had not a single clue what was going on, y'all. Okay. I don't know if y'all know how the pageant world is, but I had a glimpse of it and I ran for the hills. But anyway, let's stay focused on the topic. So they were able to throw together a contestant. And I was the contestant. I told my parents, y'all ain't got to come because it ain't nothing serious. Like, just don't even worry about it. They insist on coming because they want to support every single thing that I do. And I love them for that. So I did my competition. I was super uncomfortable in my swimsuit because I've never been comfortable half naked. That's one thing about me. You is not going to see me naked on social media because I don't like that. But I tripped on stage walking in my swimsuit. I didn't really know how to walk. Like, I had no formal training for real. But I sang Listen by Beyonce from the Dreamgirls soundtrack. And I believe I got a standing ovation. Now, I can't see anything. The lights are dark. I have no idea what's going on. They're getting ready to announce the winners. Now, again, the pageant has 2 winners because they're doing a dual crown pageant. So 2 people are going to be called. They start calling people's names. And, well, first they lined us all up and they said, what's your goal in life or what's something you wish you could change, blah, 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 blah. I gave some BS answer because thanks to Alcorn State University, I was able to learn how to not give BS answers, but how to conduct myself in interviews and professional, way to navigate through conversations with other, professionals. So I was able to formulate an answer that was sufficient for the judges. Them people said, and the winners are, they called a white girl. I'm expecting nothing. I'm thinking they're going to call another white girl because that's what they do at the pageants, okay? The pageants are for the white women's. That's the only understanding that I knew about it, right? And then they called my name, and I'm in shock. So I'm literally on the stage like this. And then they bring me this crown. I still have this crown, y'all. This is over 10 years old. This is the crown that I wore to compete in the Miss Mississippi pageant. It was so crazy, y'all. So then I ended up, again, I'm telling you, this is a preliminary to the Miss Mississippi pageant. I had no idea what I was doing, okay? But they were like, oh, you need a mission statement. You need, pillars that you run on. You need to be involved in the community. So I'm like, hey, I just got my degree. I don't have a clue what I want to do with my life. I'm just here. This is my 3rd day out. Okay. I'm winging it. I don't have a clue. All right. But I worked with these people and they were able to kind of cultivate a person that could compete in this pageant. Now, what I did not know is that the pageant world is full of demons and snakes, because while we're grown people, men and women of all races, on a private message board, talking shit about the contestants. Now, mind you, I'm the oldest person in this competition. Most of these girls are high schoolers. I think the age out was like 23 or something like that. I'm right at the cusp. I'm 21. The rest of these girls I'm competing against, 17, 18. I'm old as hell up here doing this. And I'm watching these people be bullies behind these keyboards. And I'm like, these are adults talking about their body shape, talking about their hair, talking about their talent. I went on there and I saw some nasty things about myself on this private message board. And I was like, this is kind of like the music industry a little bit, or at least my understanding of it at the time. So I just remember thinking it was absolutely insane. And then they have us do a roommate situation when you compete in Miss Mississippi. So I had this girl in my room, and she decided that it was too hot in the room, so she needed the AC blasting. Singers know you can't sleep under the AC because you're going to be congested in the morning. If you congested enough, if you stopped up enough, that throat going to be sore. So now I'm hoarse, and I can't alter the key in which I have to sing. So listen, I had no intentions of winning this pageant, but I might have could have done a better job if I had full vocal capacity. Saying all that to say, it was very interesting to see how that girl cried and ran to the adults in charge about, basically, it was one of those situations where she's not being fair, she's not being accommodating and things like that. And I'm like, I don't know how much lower the AC needs to be if it's already on 70 or 72. You know, like if it's on auto, it's going to come on and go off. If you're that hot, just sleep with ice in your drawers. I don't know what else to say about it. So that whole situation frustrated me, and I realized that I'm a grown woman feeling like this. At this point, I'm still a child, but I'm 21, and I feel like this. How do y'all think children that are 4 and 5 and 6 years old competing in these organizations, how do you think they're being made to feel? Now, I'm not saying that we need to do away with the pageant system. I'm just saying we do have someone in office who oversaw a certain pageant organization and children were being trafficked from it. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.